going on, world? It's your boy Gemini Brown here, back with another episode of Nalo Kicking Knowledge. Today, we'll be talking about critical degrees in astrology, what that really means, and we're going to unlock a deeper layer. So, let's get into it. Now, the reason why in which I'm doing this video is because I felt called to by spirit, and I'm always, even with my mother, seeking to express to others I'm close to how my connection with spirit works and stuff like that. Kind of like demystifying it and all of that, but also making sense of it. But anywho, I'm a practicing astrologer, and what I do is a matter of collecting data and breaking it down and all of that. So, needless to say, I pay attention to details and stuff like that. So, my last 4 readings have really involved critical degrees and things of that nature. And then the icing on the cake, I had a dream in which I was running. I was running, almost like, I dream kind of ambiguous sometimes. Like in my mind, I kind of was playing, like it started off, I was playing like flag football, and then I just started running, right? And then, the dream switched up. I got towards the edge or whatever. It was like I'm running, I'm going full speed, and I realized, oh shit, I'm getting to the edge, and I stopped. And dreams are just symbolic. Dreams are symbolic. So, and I meditate on that, and we're here, right? We're here to talk about this. So, critical degrees, and this is something people always asking me. Oh, I have this planet at the 29th degree. What does this mean? I've heard this, and so these are my thoughts, on critical degrees and all of that. And there's a lot more. I have a full lesson on my Patreon. Feel free to check it out. So first thing you want to know, 30 degrees of a sign. There are 30 degrees of a sign and 360 degrees in the whole zodiac. And everything is as above, so below. Very important starting point. So life is imitating art, or the zodiac is imitating life. Same thing, right? So in astrology, we have different ways of decoding real life things and putting astrological meaning to them. Oh, this happened? What's the cosmic influence? And essentially, what is above will manifest below here in the physical. So, to keep it concise here, right? To keep it concise, you want to think the degrees in your chart, a good way to look at them as all life is as being on a cycle of evolution. Being on a cycle of evolution. Now, we don't want to look at this as too literal in the sense of like if any planets that are 0 to 10 degrees are baby planets and planets that are 20 to 30 are all old planets. There's a layer, there can be a layer of truth to that, or it will manifest in that way, but you don't want to be too hemmed up on that, okay? So when we come to the critical degrees of 0 and 29, we can apply that logic towards understanding why it's such a critical degree. So when it comes to 0, I look at these planets as being kind of sleep or developing. Now this is where hopefully you stay with me here. As you're born with this planet at 0 degrees, depending on said planet, it will then progress it through this sign at a different rate, depending on what planet it is. So when one goes towards their progress chart, the 0 degree planet, let's say if it were Mercury, possibly, and one is born at a regular time of the transit. By the time what is 15 to 18, that said planet uh, will be in a different sign. So that although natally at 0 degrees, it will have matured somewhat. Now, if you're born with the sun at 0 degrees, this is going to be a while long. It's going to be about 30 years before that sun could kind of mature. So in certain cases, I like to look at it in the fact like planets at 0 degrees don't really wake up or come into confidence in expression till after the Saturn returns. So it'd be 32 to 35. But before that, depending on what's happening progressed wise, influences receiving, all of that. So the next thing with the 0 degree planet is that it is transitioning into a sign. It's new. It's new here. It's there. This is where we go and come back to like consider it kind of like a baby in a sense. It's like or just foreign towards unsure of how it wants to navigate. Okay, so I like to think of kind of like a cautiousness, but really like a wild card, maybe like a Joker effect. So depending on whether this is cardinal, fixed, mutable, the actual sign to show how the person kind of deals with that. But typically, it's a critical. It's critical in the sense that the person wanting to express it, but unsure if they're doing it right or unsure how to express it confidently. Whereas if it were at 1 degree and having an Aries influence to it, that's a little bit different. Okay? So let's talk about the 29th degree. Why is the 29th degree critical? Now, this is right there, right? It's there, but then it's not. You're at the end of the sign. You're at the end of the sign. And I encourage everyone to meditate on this because if anybody also, if you haven't checked out my book, Astrology the Matrix, feel free to do so. I don't talk about degrees in depth in there, but the book is designed to spark thoughts or like, I wonder. I never thought about that. Okay, so feel free to click the link below, check that out. But I really not have to say, like, I'm very big on meditation, connecting with that subconscious mind, feeling things out with this in conjunction with the logic. And when come to 29th degree, and plants in general in these at this point, it's if you can imagine like an old person kind of walking, not like they're disabled, but you're carrying the weight of the whole sign with you, all that influence. This typically signifies the need to culminate, to put something together. And the biggest difference I see between the 0 and the 29th degree is that the results or when the energy manifests for the 29th degree, it's big. It has big implications. So let me give some examples here. So whatever planets these will be are going to that importance and the themes connected towards that planet sign and other house will be of importance. So if Venus is, let's say, in the all right, don't no one out there in this position takes too literal. However, it kind of be like that. Venus in the like sixth house, coming into someone's sixth house, right? Particularly, and I've seen this, like a person will have like a Venus in Virgo or a Venus in the sixth house, then they end up being with someone whose Venus is in their sixth house or vice versa. This typically is gonna end in divorce. And I'm not even never say never. I always have preface that. But what I'm saying here is that with this effect, if Venus is like at 29th degree in the sixth house, and say it's even closer to the descendant on and all of that. Marriage is going to be imminent. The choice of relationships and how one assimilates in this area is going to be of importance. It's really going to guide it. In a sense, you could say at that time, depending on other dynamics, you're either choosing love or work, right? But that's not all the way true. There may be a possibility of the best of both worlds, but it typically kind of feels like that. The person will be like, it's kind of like an extremes thing too. So in this example, I'm saying this person may be 20 and they finally fall in love, right? Say they date, but they never really fell in love. Then when they're 20, it actually happens. It's this, everyone falls in love, right? But at the 29th degree, it's like, this is love. This is like the energy is so important to the person, the soul, they want to do it big. Or in other cases, like I'm saying, it'll bring them an opportunity to really manifest it. You get a marriage. Yeah, someone's gonna want to marry you. Now, at a deeper level, I want stray too much, but you got to keep the karmic history of the soul in mind here, because that's also what's influencing this. But what I'm just saying, it's gonna, someone with this position at 29 degree is more likely to manifest in like an early marriage, the opportunity for that. And then also, even the divorce with it, like versus someone who's at 15 degrees or maybe a not so critical degree of another sign. Okay, the 29th degree is like, it's almost like, if I can give a good example, maybe like wanting to be an adult really fast. Whatever, because you're gonna be a little bit of experience with this energy, right? So if it's Mercury, this could be a natural in regards to creative expression and all of that. This may just be someone who knows what they want to do from early on, or really hell bent on manifesting that particular energy. That's why it's so critical. Now, it's critical because you could be rushing, you could be anxious. So if this is 29 degrees of Aries, it's like, yeah, let's do it now. Okay. Now, like I said, so the key thing also with this is, if something is in the next sign, it's something in the next sign. Because if there's like, let's say, 2 other planets in the next sign, it's going to show an easier time transitioning into that energy. Depending on what this transition is and where it's occurring, it can be ease or difficulty. Like if someone's experiencing later in life a transition like into, from like the ninth to the 10th house, that can come easier. It's just like, okay, for a long time I didn't know what I wanted to do in career, but later in life I just got the courage to go back to school, and boom, now they're kind of walking their path. Takes a while or whatever, but when it was time to transition, they were able to. So let's now talk about critical degrees within different points of the different signs. So the example I want to use here for you guys, like what I was saying before, is kind of think about this in the sense of age, right? So when we look at a cardinal, you first want to keep in mind what the nature of the mode that it's in. So is it a cardinal, is it fixed, or is it mutable? We know cardinal signs are about establishing, about leadership, right? Really tied towards the ego in a lot of ways, or it's meant to build that. So planets at critical degrees in cardinal signs are going to be critical in shaping the identity in regards to what the particular sign and area. So if it is Cancer in the 7th house at a critical degree, one's cultural influence, one's the family in which they come from will all be critical, those factors in relationships, in the scenarios around them. When it comes to fixed signs are a bit more, I guess, because of the fixed nature of it. They seem to be a little bit more anchored into the theme of the chart. Okay, and what I mean by that is you'll see clear things about a person. So for example, people who have first house energies, will that is signifying like, oh, okay, you've cultivated this energy over lifetimes. This is who you've been. This is how you really identify at this level. Where you have a critical degree there, particularly in fixed sign, the detachment of that energy is kind of like the thing. So if it's Mars, really, in let's go with Mars in the first house, having to really accept whatever the chart is saying, if there's an overall theme of humbling yourself, so less ego. But Mars is in the first house at this critical degree, like, but I'm always used to having ego, right? That's the thing. That could be, it's critical. A lot of things will be critical in regards to you being able to evolve. So a detaching, right? So we want to think, keeping in mind the nature of the mode of the sign, as well as its elements and all of that. And then mutable is tricky. I feel like there's, we're gonna go on as I do my studies, probably discover more critical degrees for this one. But one thing about, I know with these mutable signs, they give, at particularly like at 4 degrees, 17 degrees, they give creative talent, right? So countless people with Pisces around these degrees have some type of creative skill. If it's in the 3rd house, they could sing. If it's in the 9th house, they're an artist. Shit. At the in the 10th house, that could even represent one's father being some type of real ideal force, right? Celebrity per se. So yeah, man, like I said, if you ponder to understand or unlock this layer of astrology, like I said, you have to feel this. I'm explaining it to you, but you have to feel it, you have to understand it. And that's where it's like, because we're talking about it in the context of a chart, right? But in the long run, you want to look at it in the sense of the days. There's another layer to this. Let me say, I can look here and let me say for Aquarius, right? Aquarius season is when Valentine's Day is. I don't know the exact degree of Valentine's Day, but I want to say that it ends up within the Gemini. No. I want to say it ends up in the Libra decan, right? And then depending on the day, it may have another dwa. But needless to say, you could say that just the influence of Valentine's Day being at that particular week is why Valentine's Day has manifested into what it is, in the way it is. So I kind of was alluding to this in the video I made around then, that let's say you actually have Valentine's Day in Libra season. The manifestation of the tradition would be significantly different. And all of that even has its footing in the degree. So all in all, critical degrees are not a death sentence. They are not something to be feared. They can work for you. They can definitely work for you. They can, do a lot. But yeah, it's a little bit about them. I hope this answers any of your questions you may have had. I'm come back, do some more work with this. Like I said, if you're interested in more, teaching content like this, I teach classes every week, the Lions Den, online and in person. So feel free to check out my website, send me an email. And we're doing readings, all of that. So subscribe, like the video, share it. Till next time, peace.